Hey, this is Notser, and this week on Untitled, I'm going to talk about the Japanese destroyers, how I felt about it, good, bad, ugly, that sort of thing. I also want to touch on the Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all these sales that World of Warships did, what I actually thought of it, and you probably have an idea of what I think about it, but we'll touch on that. And then finally, I would like to at least discuss the idea of making a couple videos for Warthunder's PT boat mode. It's about to enter closed beta right now. It has some weird Friday, Saturday, Sunday sort of beta thing. I'm not really into Gaijin. I don't really trust them, but I think it's okay to at least purchase the ships, play them on my channel, share my thoughts about it, so you can decide for yourself if it's worth your money. That's really the whole goal here. So, Japanese destroyers. We have been releasing a lot of content lately, specifically on the Japanese destroyers that are unreleased. There are slight changes to the tiers 9, 10, 8, 7, 6, Plus, there's brand new ships, and some of the brand new ships are pretty awesome. So this is what my understanding is of the Japanese destroyer revisit. Is that the word they're using? They basically want to make you feel more involved with your main guns. It has a higher rate of fire, lower HE alpha damage. AP has not been touched. Sort of two folds there. They want to encourage you to use AP a little bit more. And they don't want to quite give you as much HE DPS boost as increasing the rate of fire from something like 8 seconds to 6 seconds would actually give you. What do I think of that? I think that's a great way to fix a problem. Nobody really uses AP on the Japanese, and if you give them any incentive, hey, you're going to have the same damage, alpha damage that you would have previously, but you have a way faster rate of fire, then, maybe people are going to make more use of it. And I have definitely made more use of it in multiple scenarios, not just the Tier 8 alternative gun system one. That one is ridiculous, by the way. I really enjoy just playing it. But the Tier 7s, the Tier 6s, the Tier 9, it just feels better to have a rate of fire that high. I don't know what it is. I just feel more involved. I feel like I can be a little bit more agile. Now, conversely, it's easier to read if your opponent is taking a gun cooldown off. If they were to, say, send their torpedoes or set up an attack, yes, you can actually tell that, oh man, they could really be sending their torpedoes. They're not firing the guns. The American destroyers, and to some degree, lesser degree, the Soviet destroyers suffer from this, where the tell is real. If you don't fire for 5 or 10 seconds in an American destroyer, you have pretty much told me you sent your torpedoes. The rate of fire is just so high, there's no other reason. You can also peer at their gun systems and see that their turrets are rotating. That could be a tell too, but it's a really big tell if you have a high rate of fire and you're taking a cooldown or two off. So the Japanese need to work towards a more stealthy approach to hiding the fact that they're sending their torpedoes. Now, not everything has been good. Not everything has been good. The Isokaze has been demolished. Absolutely 100% is a shadow of its former self. They have nerfed the gun rate of fire. I believe the torpedo rearm, the torpedo speed. It is really bad. It's really bad. They dropped the torpedo speeds of the fastest torpedoes by like 11 knots. Yeah. And they didn't change the detectability of the torpedo. So it is just, basically, there's no reason to have it. And I don't really like that. Some people have been noticing, I've been one of them, that mid-tier is losing a lot of the population or the incentive to play. Maybe you haven't run into this, but I certainly have, where I queue up in a Tier 5 or a Tier 6 or a Tier 4, and it takes like a minute or 2 minutes to get into a match. It used to be almost instantaneous, and that's not good. That's not good. That tells me that there's a little bit too much incentive to play high tier. Either between the ships being too weak at low tier, really feeling abysmally weak. That's sort of what World of Tanks suffers. Those tanks, they basically were learning how to make tanks. And the early tier in World of Tanks is awful. I mean, just the worst tanks you've ever seen. No armor, no firepower, no mobility, no turret traverse. I mean, terrible accuracy. It feels terrible, except for a couple. There's a handful that are actually worth playing at low tier, and that's what basically people do. Now, I'm not talking about 1, 2, or 3. That seems like this is where people go to really seal club if they just can't find success at tiers 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or 10. Obviously, 9 or 10 are not seal clubbing, but you get the idea. So with the Isokaze being nerfed, I don't feel like the Isokaze is so broken that it needed to be nerfed. I just felt like players were so bad at avoiding torpedoes that, of course, a torpedo slinging device is going to be more successful. So the gun rate of fire was unnecessary to nerf. Maybe nerf the torpedo speed. I could get that. Maybe the torpedo distance. But not all of them together. I think it's an overreaction on the Isokaze specifically, and I definitely noticed it. The second I pulled it, I was like, wow, this is bad. Continuing forward, the Minikaze is not quite as good. I believe it dropped the speed as well on the torpedo systems. It's to be expected that those two ships might receive some nerfs. All right, they're an effective platform to succeed. I don't feel like it's unfair to nerf those ships. I just think it's unfair to nerf so much about the Isokaze. I have to play a little bit more of the Minikaze to really know, but there's another ship at tier 5 that is absolutely garbage. I don't know what they're doing, but the Mutsuki is still, by far, the worst experience in the Japanese destroyer line. There is no contest. You only have 2 total guns. The rearm cycle is okay. It's not something special. You got to basically hit all your torpedoes to be effective. You can't rely at all on this reformatted gun system identity that they're trying to add. It just feels so clunky compared to so many of the ships that have improved turret traverse, improved rate of fire. The Fubuki at tier 6, you feel it. I believe it lost a gun. It only has 2 guns, 2 gun turrets. Sorry, it has 4 guns total, 2 gun turrets. It lost a gun turret. It's okay, but it's definitely not the tier 8 Fubuki that I recognize. Is that a bad thing? No, of course not. It's a tier 6. You know, that's just the way the world works. Hatsuharu, not really impressed with it either. It's For whatever reason, tier 6 and 7, they just gotta be Now, there's a tier 7 that is not mediocre. The tier 7 in the alternative line. So alternative line basically has better AA protection, slightly more unique setups. They rely heavily on torpedo rearm consumable. Usually they don't have a lot of launchers on their ships. And they're not all the same, right? The tier 8 in the alternative line is a high rate of fire, 100mm AA, just juggernaut. It does not have defensive fire, but it has a humongous rate of fire. It's very scary. It's really fun to play, and you play it basically like a Soviet destroyer. I think that was the first one, Akizuki, I think. I really apologize. I don't memorize the names quite yet, and plus, I'm seeing completely different. So whenever you look in games, some people are like, why is this not the tier 8 Kageto? Well, they don't want to confuse people with the tier 9. So they gave it one of the ships that were in the class, and the people who actually have access to the ship can see in the port what ship it is, because the hull is still labeled the same thing. So it is indeed a tier 8 Kageto, or a tier 6 Fubuki. Tier 6 is okay. The gun systems are still pretty mediocre, and maybe that's what they want to feel like. But tier 7, 8, 9, and 10, I would say it's either the exact same balance or extremely better. That's where I feel like they sit. Alternative 7 is great. Alternative 8 is fantastic. The Tier 9 Yugumo is also great. The Kagedo at Tier 8, it still feels pretty crappy. Not gonna lie. It's okay. It's just nothing special. The Tier 8 in the alternative line is way more fun. And I'm going to be having that ship, the Tier 7 in the alternative, the Tier 9. Maybe the Fubuki at Tier 6. Just to say I have the Fubuki at Tier 6. I've always enjoyed the Fubuki. But overall, the line is better. It feels better, both in torpedo systems and the gun systems. They've limited the total range of the torpedoes to 10 kilometers, I believe. I have not checked the Shimakaze, the new variant, but they've gotten rid of all those 15 kilometer, 20 kilometer that sat on anything other than the Shimakaze. What does that mean? Well, the gun systems need to be better. They need to be much better, because you've got to do something past 10 kilometers. You really do. You can't just sit there and say to yourself, well, torpedoes on cooldown, can't do anything, right? That's not an option. You have to have something to do. Concealment's great. They're not quite as good as the Americans in 1v1 brawling, but they're much better. They can stand up in a fight. They can definitely contribute in their gun systems. And I'm excited. I'm really happy that they did this. We'll see what they do with the American cruiser line sometime in 2017, right? Now, I touched on the Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff. What did I think of World of Warship sales? Well, I think some PR guy got way too excited, okay? $400 US and regional equivalent for all of the premium ships ever created, except, of course, the Grimiashi and the Nicholas. Or the Nikolai, sorry. There's probably very few people that would ever buy that. It doesn't matter that it's 50% off. It's $400. That is an insane amount of money to spend on digital goods. It just is. There's just not a lot of incentive to try and buy that. I would have preferred, you know what, choose 10 or 15 ships and they're half off or something like that. I think that would work out much better. These bundles really kill all the enthusiasm I have for stuff like this. Maybe they feel like, oh, we're already cutting so close to the cost to make these ships. We just can't drop it that low. Yeah, but nobody's going to buy it. It's a digital good. Once you've made it, you're just recouping. Right? That's my understanding. Now, one thing that was good is the premium time. 50% off premium. It's a one-time. You can't buy it unlimited. But 50% off for World of Warships and World of Tanks. I don't know if World of Warplanes did it. But if you don't know this, premium is across all the accounts. So if you get premium time on your World of Tanks, it applies to your World of Warships. Yeah. You see where I'm going. 2 years, 50% off for premium time. I mean, I don't have to buy it forever. I decided to pick that up. I do this for a living. Obviously, I'm going to be doing this for a while. Even if I lose complete interest in the game, I still really enjoy making videos and talking about it. I'm not there. I've definitely feel better now that the Japanese destroyers have really come into their own. Learning the British cruisers, I feel better about that. But I just don't understand some of these deals. It's like, really? $400? No one's going to do that. Very few people will do that. And you're only going to use, what, a handful, maybe? It's just too many ships to buy. Too much wasted money. I mean, a person would probably get everything they wanted out of it by just choosing 4 or 5 ships and spending $200, right? That's my logic. That's probably most people's logic. When you consider these sales, maybe they'll learn from it and do something different. Now, what about Warthunder PT boats? What the hell is this, Notser? So, anyone who missed it, Warthunder is a product that does aircraft, tanks, and now they're going to be doing boats. Not ships, boats. And any Navy people, they know exactly what a boat is versus what a ship is. They're going to be doing small, torpedo-focused PT boats And something equivalent for the Soviets, of course, because they have to stick a tank turret on and everything. And basically, it's going to be crewed by 8 or 9 people, and you fight each other off. It feels a lot like a tank, right? Yeah, a lot closer to a tank analogy than going from World of Tanks to World of Warships. They're very different. These ships are crewed by thousands of people, and they are massive. Different playstyle, right? I appreciate that. I actually enjoy that they're different enough. I don't know about PT boats. We'll have to see how well it works out. What I have done is I have bought basically some 3-pack of the 3 different variants that they're offering right now. I'm going to make a couple videos, probably. You can check it out. I'll leave my thoughts. It might be a little extreme or a little insane aggression because, let's face it, you're in a little boat. You've got forward-facing torpedoes, and you got to get close to the target and try and torpedo them. It sounds kind of fun. Honestly, I really like destroyer gameplay. It sounds like it's a little bit more extreme version of destroyers without all the other counterplay and all that stuff. My whole problem with War Thunder has always been the developer. I don't like how the developer views online created content. They just throw every PR out the window and they say, you know what, we don't like it when you're mean to us, when you don't give us the real truth, you know, like, I don't like that. You should not like that either. You should be really, really, really cautious of a company that tries to hide behind, oh, it's trademarked. Oh, that's not healthy. You have to have people give input in it before it comes out. It's like Bethesda. Remember when Bethesda announced that basically every single game will not be reviewed before you can buy it? That sucks. So yeah, in the near future, we're going to have War Thunder content in the shape of the boats, just so you can be informed. It's not going to be, I don't think it's going to replace anything. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't think that's going to be possible. We're just going to cover it so people are informed and they can make an intelligent purchase choice when the time is right. And I don't know when that time is. I hope this was enjoyable talking about the Japanese. We'll continue focusing on some of the mid-tier Japanese and really show you, yeah, the Mutsuki, it sucks. It's bad. Also, there might be something coming out this week. We'll see. 0.5.15. Cross his fingers. I'm hoping. Maybe a premium. Who knows? Either way, I really appreciate all the support. The stream is going great. YouTube is going great. I really appreciate all the comments. I do read them all. I try to answer, obviously, the questions that are asked. And you all seem to be pretty respectful of each other. I do see people jump on each other, but it sort of dies down. And that's basically the internet, right? I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you next time.